So I've been using the Rokid's spatial computing extensively now for just over a week, and I decided to come out here in this beautiful park by my house to give you guys a full review. This is a very nice park. It feels so good out here. The weather, the temperature is perfect. This is a perfect place where if you just happen to want to do a little bit of productivity, you can simply bring a bag like this, a glasses like this, a spatial computing like this, and a foldable keyboard to do some productivity. And that's exactly what I did today to give you guys the full review. Now, when you are doing mobile computing, you can use pretty much any form of mouse. You can use something like this, which is my preferred method. You know, I like the fact that it's more like a trigger. Or in this very case, since we're talking about Rokid, you can use this as your mouse pad. Not only can you navigate like this, you can also orient it. That way you can actually use it just like the mouse pad on a computer. Just like I mentioned in my previous video of the Rokid AR Lite, there is so much to love about this device right here. But for the sake of my returning subscribers, I don't want to be repetitive. So if you haven't seen that video, you should probably check it out, because there are some things in that video that I'm not going to show here, and try to keep this one as short as possible. But the number one thing I want to start off with that I really love about this device is the true multitasking. And that is the most apparent when you have a 3-window display. In each of the 3-window display, right, for example, to the far left, you can have a 3D movie or video or 3D whatever it is in 3D playing at the same time, while having 2 other windows to do 2 completely different things. When you compare it to something like the X-Real spatial computing, with the X-Real, as soon as you want to watch 3D content, you are locked into only that movie or video. You cannot use multi-window when watching 3D content with an X-Real. And then if you compare it also to something like the Feature, which you also cannot watch 3D content along with something else in spatial computing. You can only use one form of video content or one form of 3D content. Going back to the Rokid, I reckon that you can also do multiple 3D content, because in each of the windows you have options to switch from 2D to 3D if the video file or file in general that you have supports it. I really love that. And this is only possible because it's running on a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip with 8 gigs of RAM, and it also has a 5000 milliamp hour battery. So with that multitasking, that should last you a little bit. And also being that it has 2 ports in the bottom, one for your glasses and one for charging, you can directly connect to a power source and use at the same time as well. Now, one thing I can say is on evenings like this, the display is definitely bright enough to use outdoors. But if there's still too much light to the point where you can't really see your displays, you can use this shade that is included in the box, which would help you see better as well as cut out the reflection. Now, it's a shame that they don't have the electrochromic adjustment displays like the X-Reals or the Features, but nevertheless, this is still included. The only thing that I don't like about this is the fact that once you put it on, now you can't see past the tint. So if somebody is approaching you directly, you're not going to be able to see it. Whereas with the X-Real, you can adjust the tint and you can still see through it, and you can make it completely dark. And Feature also happens to have the electrochromic tint. So maybe this is something that Rokid will do in the future, but for now they don't have it. As far as mobile computing, you can pretty much do some light mobile computing when you have this right here, because it has this display that is pretty stable. It has multi-windows functionality, so you can have your main display in the middle and have 2 open windows on the side, which is pretty nice, you know. And then you can also adjust the aspect ratio, and you can essentially have YouTube on one side, Word doc or PDF or whatever it is, Excel in the middle, and something as a reference folder on the right side. And now, as far as gaming, you can play pretty much a lot of the same games that you can play on your mobile phone. All you have to do is go into the Google Play Store, download them, and you are good to go. Now, obviously, there might be some games that might not work properly. I'm guessing games that include using a navigation, the gyro sensor on your phone. I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know if they're gonna work, but for the most part, you can simply connect your controller to the device, because the device has Bluetooth connectivity, which is what I'm actually using for my keyboard. The device has Bluetooth connectivity, which you can control. You can use your controller to connect to and play mobile games like Street Fighter, Call of Duty, or whatever it is that you want to play. So mobile games, simply fine. You can also download Steam Link or Xbox Game Pass or the PlayStation, whatever software, and just run it like you would typically do on your other mobile devices. So that's not a problem. It does pretty much everything that other spatial computing such as Xreal and Vichas do, except that with this one, you have this puck right here. With an Xreal, Xreal Beam Pro, you have a mobile phone like device, and then with the Vichas, you have a Pro neck band. Overall, I would say that the spatial computing aspect is pretty solid. There is nothing to complain about. The display is crystal clear. It is sharp from corner to corners, and I can see the display very, very well. Now, I would say though, there are some screen reflections that I'm getting in these glasses that I would not typically get with something like the Xreal One Pro. Now, the Xreal One, the non-Pro version, also has the same birdback optics display, so you will get a reflection. But with the One Pro, you don't get a reflection and you get a much wider field of view, but obviously at a higher price tag. With this one, if you don't want a reflection, you can use the shade that is attached, that is included in the box. But once again, when you use this shade, you're not going to be able to see through it because it's completely dark. So the reflection is something that you might have to deal with, although I won't say it's really bad. It's just something that you have to deal with. Now, I've talked about all the positives. Let's get into the con. The con I've mentioned in my previous video, which is the fact that it does not have native 3 dov. So once again, if you're trying to watch streaming services like Netflix, Hulu Prime, and all that stuff, you're gonna be locked into 0 dov. For some people, it's not a big deal. For me, it's a big deal, and it is the deal breaker. But I found that with certain apps like Safari, you can watch Amazon Prime using Safari, and I'm gonna show you guys how I did it. Basically, I downloaded the Safari app and I installed it, and I went into my Amazon and basically played it. Now, one thing you want to do is when you have the Safari running, right, you want to put it in dark mode, because you cannot go into full screen mode. If you try to go full screen, then a part of the display is cut off. But if you are able to deal with that bar up top, which you're gonna put in a dark mode, then you can watch Amazon Prime movies in 3 dov. But the caveat is you're not gonna be able to download shows for offline, and Netflix does not work. I have tried a few other services that don't work, but Prime does work in 3 dov with Safari. It's not gonna work with Microsoft Edge, and it's not gonna work with Google Chrome. So you're gonna have to use Safari. But you can try all your other favorite services to see if they work with Safari, or maybe other apps. Just keep trying to see which one will work for you. But it's a bummer that we don't have that native 3 dov, because otherwise you would have been able to watch any of the streaming services offline, online, whatever it is, in 3 dov. Now, the next con or issue that I have with this device is the fact that I have tried connecting my PC, my Samsung DeX, anything that I've tried to connect to it wirelessly, I just simply cannot connect. Now, on their website, it does advertise that you can connect your PC cast to it wirelessly, but I have tried using different mobile networks. I have tried different Wi-Fi. I have tried to use a hotspot, and I simply cannot get my computer to connect to this thing to stream wirelessly. That way I can do some real productivity work. And if I want to use Samsung DeX, I also cannot cast my phone to this device. So I have reached out to Rokid to see if this is something that they can help me with, and if they're able to do that, I will let you guys know with an updated video, which I'm going to be doing tips and tricks about this device. I plan to do more videos on this, so stay tuned if that's something that you're interested in. The third issue that I have with this device is on the website, it says that this thing is Google certified. But when I went to the Play Store and I looked at about the device, it says that this device is not certified. It says it's not Google certified. So it's like, is it Google certified or is it not? Is it the Play Store that is having issues? Recognize that this device it is certified, or is their information on the website inaccurate? Because it literally does say Google certified, but on the Google's Play Store it says it is not certified. So which one is it? I have once again reached out to Rokid, hoping I can get a clarification on that. Now, another con that I have with this device is the fan noise. When I did my initial extrual beam video, one of the things that I complained about is the fan noise. And unfortunately, this thing also has a pretty loud fan noise. And this is most evident when you're doing multi-screen or multi-apps, when you're running multiple apps at once. That's when you hear the fan the most. Now, in environments like this, you're not gonna hear the fan. It's not a problem at all. And if you're home by yourself, it might not even be a problem. But if you're laying in bed next to your partner, then the fan noise can get pretty loud. So, I mean, for me, it's really not that big of a deal when I'm in an environment like this, or when I'm in my living room or in my office. But in the bedroom, it can be quite annoying to have that fan noise. Some of the things that I have to give credit to Rokid for is the optimization for this, the customization. You can choose how you want to use the device. You can choose to use it as a laser pointer. You can choose to use it as a mouse trackpad. You can change the orientation so that you're holding this part right here and the cable is sticking up top. You can choose to have it sideways. That way you can navigate this way or navigate this way. So it is very, very well thought out. Overall, I don't really have much to complain about, except the biggest thing for me, which was the fact that it does not have native 3 doves. But at the same time, Extrual right now is the only one on the market with native 3 dove in their glasses. The next one to do that is gonna be Vichas when they release the Vicha Beast, which is gonna be, I don't know, later on this year or something like that. But if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see a full comparison of the Rokid's glasses versus the Extrual glasses and the Rokid's glasses, subscribe. If you want to see a difference between the spatial computing of Rokid, Extrual, and Vichas, I would also do a video on that. Peace.